Howdy folks, my name's Christian and welcome to Bullish on Farming. Today is Wednesday, November 16th, and today I just moved our last two gilts into a fresh paddock. That was yesterday. And plenty of green cover grasses, weeds in here that we're excited to offer these girls for the last stretch on the farm. I had moved them from this paddock, and although you can't really see because we got the snow covering, it pretty much reached its expiration date, and they pretty much turned it all into mud, which is okay. We sent off 2 pork and 2 beef yesterday. Our pork went off in our loading pen here, and if you haven't seen previous videos where I talk about that, check it out. And it worked just like a charm. So just brought out some of our fermented scratch to top off the hog grower for the girls. And as you can see, we have the cattle back up by the barn. So we got a cold front come through this week. It's all sub-zero temperatures with the days not getting much over zero. And so we had to blow out all the water lines and bring the cattle back to the barn. I placed 2 bales in the ring feeders yesterday, just so everyone just got settled. And we're going to be moving them out to a field with a gate just down there in just a bit. And that's to get the girls on the grass. That field would have had about not many days of rest, somewhere between 35 and 40 days of rest. And, we don't necessarily want to be putting our cattle on the fields when they're not ready. But the thing about bringing the cattle back because it's freezing and we can't get water out to that other field is that because it's freezing, the ground is firm and hard, which makes dealing with these paddocks much better because it doesn't become all soupy. But also with that field just past that fence line there, that tree line also blocks the sun from giving the top, quarter of that field really any solar heat on the ground. So it really stays firm. And although, conditions may not be perfect, we're not going to be able to be bale grazing until the first week of January out in the fields just past the nursery pen where we have our weaned calves, where they trail back to the barn where there's an insulated water trough for them. So we want to keep them in here the least amount of time as possible. And, in the meantime, when conditions are favorable, with these freezing temperatures this week and to follow, we can let them out onto fields and bale graze them there and then manage the impact and see how much we can get away with it. But for today, there's enough for them to pick through and graze this entire, 6-acre field for them to go after it. Woo! And you can see they're ready. Yeah. And so I checked all the gates on this fence yesterday, and know that they can really just have at it. So this is what we're looking at here. And the girls are gonna get some freedom. And we've had 2 days in a row with temperatures below zero. So this ground's pretty firm. And, I'm going to have to evaluate it daily and see how it's doing. And if the cattle have to come off, they have to come off. But as you know, I am a huge advocate for keeping your animals on the land. And I love integrating the waste program with the fertilization program. And, minimizing all the waste management you need to do in confined settings. And so although that barnyard is clutch to have when you need to put your cattle somewhere and regroup, having a field close by your barn where you can get them back to heated water is a plus in those freezing temperatures, because your ability to put the animals on the land when things are freezing is possible. And so it also depends on how much head you have and how much space you have. For this 6-acre plot here, it can handle the 40 head of cattle that we have for so long. And it also depends on how cold things get. If things stay really cold and freezing, the ground will hold up. As long as you're spreading carbon and balancing that with the manure distribution, you got a golden formula for fertility, baby. And so I know we started off with the pigs. I just wanted to show you guys that we gave them a fresh move and the winter wonderland that we have going on here today. Since we're out here with the cattle, why don't we just move with them a bit? Maybe get a good look at some of them. Because we're talking November 16th. And you know, we've had a full grazing season. And our calves are still on grass, supplemented with hay, of course. But they're still grazing. And that's important for us because those calves, we want to grow it nice. That's a steer right there walking with the group. He's getting a little excited. The calves we have in here have yet to be weaned. They're all under 6 months. By the end of this month, a small group will be ready to be weaned. And I think we only had 2 or 3 later in the summer. But here we are, you know, doing the best we can. Some guys are able to graze year round. It all depends on your weather. Here in Canada, we get freezing temperatures. Here we are November 16th. And things are going to be cold, baby. But we have ways of keeping cattle on the land and managing, you know, their impact on the land is so crucial. So you can't just put these cows out, think they're going to be okay for a week without inspecting things and, you know, something not pop up. If there's soft areas in your field, if there's really wet areas that collect puddling in your field, you should know this and evaluate accordingly. But this field drains pretty well, and we're going to be bale grazing this field in the winter anyways. And so would you look at that? Yep, the cattle are happy to roam free. Some of them are down to grazing. And we'll probably start bringing out bales tomorrow. I might even roll one out this afternoon. Get the tow strap and the ATV out and do the old do-it-yourself bale unroller. Got a video on that. See, those cows are just having a time. All right, folks. I want to say thanks for stopping by and God bless you all. See you on the next one.